Don't know why I was confused about my own name. Was that me? Okay. So I only finished writing this on Saturday. Sorry to be that dickhead that does the disclaimer. It's going to be shit. It's true. So, okay. So I don't think many of my jokes are that dark or too dark, but I've been informed a couple might be on the darker side of grey. So, trigger warning. I'd like to start by introducing my inspiration for this set. So I was on a walk going through a park because the footpath went through there. And overheard two children who were chatting on top of a slide, and one of them turned to the other and said, "Can you support my head when I get to the bottom? I'm going down backwards." And that was just the stupidest, bravest thing I'd ever heard. So I thought, fuck it, right, but it's a set about children, these small psychopaths that we don't, train not to be psychopaths. Granted, it doesn't always work, but, it's thought that counts. So let's talk about children, shall we? Not being a parent myself, some people might think I don't have the right to have an opinion on other people's children, but I do. I actually used to be one myself, a child, not a parent. I currently live opposite a primary school. Anyone else? You either know or you don't. So adults see screaming as a negative thing. If one is screaming, they're probably in pain, right? Children see screaming as something to do if, no one's speaking, but they want to show they're still there, having a great time. Children scream with glee. Children sound as if they're being, they've just seen an axe murderer slaughter their friends right in front of their eyes, and then the axe murderer decided to grab a chainsaw and then turn really slowly towards them. Sometimes when I was trying to do my final year work, I would hear them scream and howl, and I just got to the point where I thought, so help me if you're not in mortal peril. So sure enough, looked out my window to find, no near-death experience anywhere, just whiny human seedlings playing a confusing game of tag. Don't think anyone knew the rules of this game of tag, by the way. It's one of those games where you just sort of run around aimlessly because you're absolutely shattered. You've been running screaming for ages. Your mates are chasing you. You got stitched because you ate your snack too quick. So you just touch the closest thing to you and scream, "Base!" What a game. Although growing up I never called it tag, I always called it it. And I've heard some people call it TIG, which is just wrong. Recently and regularly I've seen the local
primary school teachers have a mental breakdown, and I'll tell you how I've witnessed it. It's all from my window. Every playtime and every PE lesson, which seems to be all the arsing time with this new staggered break time, these children seem to have some middle-aged prick who's having trouble letting go of the past put on their music for the children to run around and dance to. I've genuinely seen 6-year-olds jumping around to "Don't You Want Me Baby," which in my opinion is a very odd song choice for people of that height in life experience. It gives the word baby a very different vibe, and I'm not here for it. Now, just to put into perspective the breadth of the breakdown these teachers are having, as well as playing their own childhood/teenage playlist to people of a completely different generation, they're playing them as if they want to wake up deaf children in Australia. I could hear each lyric from across the street, in my house, in my room, with my headphones on, whilst listening to lectures that I could barely focus on because I couldn't actually audibly perceive my Zoom-based education. I don't want to be that person that complains about primary school, but they made it really hard. So I sent them an email. The first bit is basically me apologising for emailing and politely telling them to shut the fuck up. But then I decided to prove my point to the primary school receptionist by listing the school's playlist. This is what I said. I can actually list you most of yesterday's playlist. It was "Don't You Want Me Baby," "I Wanna Dance With Somebody," "Celebrate," and "Take On Me," whilst the other day it also included the Macarena and Hawaiian roller coaster ride. Ultimately, I of course do not want to ruin the school's fun, but I'd really appreciate it if the music wasn't as harmfully loud. Also, if it's loud from within a house across the street when wearing headphones, it must be
deafening for those on the playground. Best wishes. Please notice how I was too embarrassed to sign off my real name. Best wishes, someone who respects your great playlist but implores you to please lower the volume. That's the first time I've ever used the word implores. That email is somehow my proudest and yet lowest moment. But saying this, please remember, you can always go lower. Don't kid yourself. If you think you're at rock bottom, go mining, because you can definitely get lower. For example, I never thought I'd be the type of person to think of so many school shooting jokes, but people change. Also, Back to the Future, because children are the future. That was up there, yeah, sorry. Chanting, forgot about that, didn't we? Children have a real mob mentality. They're told not to do something and then bam, it's done. But not only that, a cheering, chanting crowd appeared to watch said banned thing happen. Lunatics. So I've come to the conclusion that if adults acted like children, a lot more people would be in jail. Thank you very much for your